What is up, parents and teachers? It's me, Seth, with SethPerler.com. If you haven't checked out my blog, go ahead and check out my blog, SethPerler.com. But I got this email from someone. It says, "Hey, I heard you on the Tilt Parenting podcast and love everything you have to say. My son is 2E, but he's only in third grade. So I think he's still too young to benefit from your coaching. I was wondering if your blog has ever addressed what to do if a parent also suffers from executive functioning issues. Going through my son's journey with him made me realize that I also have ADHD and inattentive type and a lot of executive functioning issues. I'm really struggling with being able to help my son get organized because I'm not organized. I end up feeling terrible about myself because I feel like I'm failing my son. Thanks for what you do, Jill." So in this video, I'm going to address that part. I'm just going to address the parent part. I made another video about the younger students and how to help them with executive function. But I actually get a lot of parents and teachers. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Sometimes I get parents who are extremely organized and they really can't understand executive function issues because their executive function is exceptional. So they're really baffled as to why is my child struggling so much. But I also sometimes get parents and teacher friends who struggle with executive function and struggle with, well, how do I help my child if I'm struggling with this stuff? So I'm going to go through 10 quick ideas that I have for you. Number one, parents and teachers, if you want to help your child with executive function thing, you want to downsize your life, minimize your life, simplify your life. Okay, I went through a process of well over a year of downsizing my life. I got my entire life to fit into 10 boxes, and then I went to Hawaii with 2 small bags. Now, you don't have to obviously go to that extreme, but you want to downsize. You want to have as little stuff. So I used to know this guy named Lou many years ago, and Lou had this mansion, and the mansion had 4 wings on the house. He had a separate house that somebody lived in just to manage the house. So this guy Lou he had like a 6-car garage. It was a lot of stuff. And one of the things that Lou said is he said, the more stuff you have, the more stuff you have to manage. So he had to manage this entire property and all this stuff, had to have housekeepers for everything, blah, blah. The more you have, the more you have to manage. Declutter, get rid of it, minimize it. Look at your child, help your child go through stuff. Look at your child's clothing, get rid of what they don't wear. Look at the books, get rid of them. Look at the toys that they don't use anymore, get rid of them. Simplify. Help them to have only the things that they have to manage. And then you model that too by doing that in your life. You don't want your child to grow up and have this cluttered adulthood. So you want to model that for them now, help them have a smaller number of things to manage. So for parent executive functions, the less stuff you have, the easier it's going to be for you. So really contemplate, where's your time and energy going? And do you want it to go there? And what can you change in terms of downsizing to help that? Next thing is the things that you do have, parents. You want to have homes for them. And so this is really directed towards parents and teachers who are not naturally organized. Obviously, if you're naturally organized, you're probably bored by my video already. So bye-bye. You don't need this video. You don't. If you do struggle with executive function, though, and you're a parent or a teacher, have homes for everything and label these homes with huge, clear labels. Okay, so have a box of cables and electronics, downsize them, get rid of the ones you don't want, but all your chargers, electronics, batteries, every single thing that's electronic, have it in a box that's labeled on all 4 sides, really big electronics. If you have board games, keep them in one closet or one drawer or one place in the house, not 50. Okay. If you have certain things in the kitchen and you have a million of cups and they're in different cabinets and stuff, see what you really use and what you really need and keep them in one place, a home for that. Anyhow, the concept of homes applies to the garage, the basement, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, everywhere in the house. You want to have clear, identifiable, labeled homes, places where you can say, oh, this goes in this place. I know that may sound obvious to some of you. Next tip, number 3, is visual. You want visual reminders for yourself if you struggle with executive function. Very bright, very clear, make them in your face. I'm sitting here at my computer right now. I have 3 I use these little sticky notes sticking right to my computer. They're right in my face. I have my personal list of my top things that I need to do today. Visual, out of sight, out of mind. So if you struggle with executive function, make your life visual, colorful. You want to have reminders, important responsibilities, important systems. routines, make them as visual as possible. Next, timers. Use timers, digital timers, to help you start, to help you stay on track, to help you remember what you were even doing. If you're an adult who struggles with executive function, you have trouble executing tasks, important tasks that you need to do for your life. So this will help you to self-start. It'll help you stay on track. It's auditory, it's visual, it's kinesthetic. Use timers, please. They help. And it's a great model for your kids to see that too. Next, parents, overhauls. You want to overhaul systems in your life. If your scheduling system isn't working, then overhaul it. Take a day, a half day, an hour, whatever, but completely overhaul it. Don't do little pieces at a time. If your garage is out of hand, overhaul it. If the bathroom cabinets are out of hand, overhaul it. Go through every single thing. If your taxes are out of hand, overhaul it. If you have a million lists of things to do, overhaul all your lists. Simplify, overhaul your systems completely one at a time to make them more effective for you. Don't think you're going to do little bits at a time. It's going to make any difference, because it doesn't. Next thing is give yourself, parents, tech-free days. Give yourself a tech-free Sabbath, they call it. Times when you get freedom from tech and you can just let go of all of it and have space from it and reset your nervous system without tech and stuff like that. The next one, which is related to that, is self-care, parents. You need to model self-care. If your kids don't see you doing self-care, they're going to learn what you're modeling for them. So model self-care. Take care of yourself, get your massages, get your whatever it takes for you, get your fitness time in, get your good sleep in, get your good food in. Model self-care. Next one is emotional regulation, parents. If you struggle with executive function, you might struggle with emotional regulation in terms of depression or anxiety or overwhelm or whatever. So you want to work with your emotional regulation, work with mindfulness meditation, work with journaling, work with therapists, work with whatever you need to keep your nervous system in a peaceful, calm, joyous place as much as possible, obviously. Number 9, parents. If you're struggling with executive function and you have trouble executing, obviously trouble executing means that you can have trouble executing in terms of living your purpose. What is your purpose? What gives you meaning? What gives you joy? Okay, so living on purpose, and getting your executing better so that you can live on more of the purpose that is meaningful to you. So make sure you're doing that if you're not. And finally, number 10. Number 10 is the most important one, but it's a two-part one. The first part of it is, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take things too seriously. Know when to let go, and detach and say, you know what? It's not that important. How important is this really? It's not that important. And the flip side of that coin of don't take yourself too seriously is, remember the number one thing. The number one thing is your relationship with your kids. Retaining a good relationship, enjoying time with them, having quality time with them. When you're not talking about school or drama or anything like that, there are times and places for that. But remember, the most important thing is that you build this relationship with this human being that you're raising, and that you enjoy it and have quality time. That is the most important thing. That's the thing that'll have the biggest returns in the future. That's the thing that's going to create memories. That's the thing that matters, is your time with your child. So anyhow, that was just a quick few things. I hope those helped you, and I hope you have a great day. Oh, hey, if you like this, share it with someone right now, please. That helps me. Also, subscribe on YouTube or subscribe to my blog, sethperler.com, and leave a comment here on YouTube if you want. Take care. Bye-bye.